Welcome, everybody. Glacier Gamble Podcast. We are back, episode 48. Just going to be some basketball talk today. We actually, I had some pet peeves about the basketball talk from the big networks this week. This week, it's going to be about NBA Finals. That's the big thing. You got Warriors Celtics. So this episode's just about Warriors Celtics. But what we're going to do, we're going to go through some of the topics that a lot of the big people are talking about, big followings.
There you go. There we go.
Big companies that, those sorts of things. People from, all over. We're also not picking sides. This is Fox Sports. This is ESPN. All these local sports.
We're not getting in debates for something that doesn't even need to be debated.
Which is, that's the whole point that I like. We want to have good sports discussions here. That's why we created this. We're here to have good sports discussions. Provide some hot takes here and there.
Yeah, we have similar views on a lot of things, but we do differ on some, and that's where these engagements come from.
Absolutely. Well, this week everybody's been talking about Steph Curry. Is Steph Curry a top 5 player of all time? Is he top 10? If he wins a Finals MVP, does that change his legacy? Those sorts of things. And that's why we wanted to go through today, because I've had some, I've got, as each one's come along, not only is it more boring, it's stupid, but I really don't understand the point of it. So we're going to go through. These are all, every question we pose here, even if they're the same question, these are all different titles of segments, videos, or articles that I have found, that I have hidden from my feeds or removed from my feeds all week, all last week, because they are the same stupid topics. And then we'll answer the question for you in a quick, short answer. First,
radical way.
Steph Curry is eyeing his Finals MVP. Is Jayson Tatum the second best player in the series?
So it started with the is like him eyeing the Finals MVP.
He's eyeing so that's all Steph is eyeing right now. Is he's eyeing that, like, his biggest motivation right now is not the ring.
I saw a
Finals MVP.
I saw a short clip of Andre Iguodala like consoling Steph when he thought that he played bad in one of the finals or something, like either like walking into the locker room or something like that. And the title of the thing, or the person who did the quote or whatever, and it's like Steph Curry playing bad, realizing he just shot himself in the foot and winning Finals MVP. And I was like, I don't think that's what he cares about.
No.
So
it's all these big athletes of all time have always said, like, those sorts of things are cool. Just like a lot of actors are like, yeah, it's cool when you win. It's cool when you're nominated. And, they're all competitive, so it hurts to lose to somebody for something else. But at the end of the day, that ring is all that they care about. Like,
what do you think is the most, after getting a finals, like a finals, the trophy?
Yep.
Is it the Larry O'Brien? Is that right?
The ring, the trophy, all of them, no matter the sport.
I think it's Larry O'Brien. I think that's right. But getting that trophy, what do you think is the second most like prestigious thing you can get in the NBA? Like, probably you get winning
regular season
MVP, right?
Yeah.
And I think maybe it was Jokic, maybe it was Giannis. But they asked them, and they're like, I could care less about MVP. We didn't win the finals, something like that. So, like, the most prestigious award doesn't matter to these players.
Right. The second best reward that you could possibly win through the series or through the season is a huge, monumental drop from that ring.
Yeah.
Because the ring is all that matters.
Yeah.
The ring is the only effect.
It's the only thing that matters. So
I don't think Steph's eyeing Finals MVP.
Well,
I think maybe if they are up 3-0 in the series, Steph tries to drop 70 to
maybe
make sure
they
he
do
wins
maybe they do the this was proposed on someone's tweet or something. It's like, there's no rules against the Warriors players like locking arms.
Yeah.
So like they just build a wall around Steph and just let him shoot. So maybe that's when they pull that out.
Right. Yeah. Like I think until it becomes like a 90-some% chance they win it, Steph doesn't care who wins Finals MVP as long as they win that ring again.
Yeah.
So if Steph doesn't care if Wiggins wins it, I mean, Steph loves Klay. He plays with Klay all the time. I'm sure Steph would love Klay to win the Finals MVP.
Yeah, absolutely. Or Draymond. Like it doesn't matter. Yeah. It could be Bielitsa for
me. Selfishly, I would love if Andrew Wiggins won it. I still love Wiggins, even though he's not on the Wolves anymore. I would love if Andrew Wiggins won it because he shut down Tatum in a closing series. That would be sick. Yeah. Jordan Poole might be like you don't know who could win it.
Yeah, I have no idea.
All these other guys besides
Kevon Looney could do it too.
Is the final game.
Yeah.
As long as you play well in the final, that's why I think Finals MVP doesn't really matter. Yeah. Because you just have to have one good play, one good game, one monumental play sticks out in everybody's mind. So all the people picking, and they have to have it picked by like halftime of the last game.
Yeah. So it's gonna be. I don't know. I don't think Finals MVP cares. Like say the Wolves. Okay, say hypothetically us as Wolves fans. Say the Wolves were to win a Finals. Are we gonna be like we're gonna be like, oh my God, the Wolves won the Finals? We're gonna be like, no, we're gonna be like, oh, did Cat win Finals MVP? I would be too distraught to celebrate if Jared Vanderbilt won it. Yeah, so
I'd be like, oh man, Ant really deserved it there.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Does this tarnish Ant's legacy?
Does that make Ant no longer the most valuable player on the team? Anyway, so I don't think Steph Curry's eyeing this.
I don't think at all.
Is Jayson Tatum the second best player in the series? Yes.
Probably. Yeah. I don't think that's a question at all. Two people that very deserving of all NBA first team in my book,
which is they both got it, thankfully, right?
Yeah I think so.
Yeah there's no other guard that would have, especially not in like the Western Conference.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like
Steph,
in my book, like Steph was there, Tatum was there. So
yeah, in Devon or Hell, Steph's first overall.
Yeah,
100%. So, all right, next one. Do the Celtics have an advantage over the Warriors in the finals? I think that's a super, super suggestive. Do they have a height advantage? Yes. Do they have experience advantage? No. They just have Al Horford.
They're probably going to do a better job defending the paint. 100%. Like, Robert Williams, Al Horford, Tatum, Smart, Brown, like those all great defenders. But that's not really the Warriors' identity, so it doesn't really affect me all that much. Like, so.
Are they going to shoot better? No, they don't have a shooting advantage either. Do they have a ball movement advantage? No. Like, they have the size and they have the defensive advantage. Yeah. I would say they have better depth. I think they have better depth.
Sure. Yeah.
But
outside of like Jordan Poole, right?
Right. Yeah, they got Jordan Poole is I don't know. They got Steph, Klay, Dre. Even Dre is like on a decline, but Wiggins, Poole. But then you got everybody from 1 through 8 on Boston. That's quite good. So maybe Boston has the depth. So I would say that's pretty clear. Like, no, Boston does not have the advantage over the Warriors in any way. This is the first time a lot of these guys have ever been to the finals versus people that have multiple rings.
Yeah.
It's just a whole new
I don't think not at all. Maybe the in the paint, clogging the paint. Like, I think that's where Boston has an advantage, but I think you could say that the Warriors have an advantage in a lot of other places, more places than Boston would.
So. Right, and the Warriors can just drive and dish. We mentioned it without the hand check, driving and dishing for open threes is huge. So Boston can clog that middle, so they have to dish.
I was talking to a Warriors fan that just at work, and I was like, all right, Warriors in 5. And he came up to me. He's like, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Give me a fist pound. And I was like, the thing with playing at Oracle Arena, right? In the Bay.
I don't think it's Oracle anymore.
They moved. Yep. Yeah, right. The fact of playing in the Bay is that if you're Boston and you're You're just Boston, and the Warriors can go down and make like 3 shots in a row. Like the Warriors score, they stop you. They score again, they stop you. They score again. You got to call a timeout because that place is going to be electric after like 3 made shots.
Yep.
So
even though
I don't
Thompson, Steve Kerr, Steph, they've all said it hasn't been as loud since they moved.
Right.
Which a lot of the fans are saying is they pushed out a lot of now it's a lot of like wealthier fans since they moved out of Oakland. It's a lot less like basketball fans. It's a lot more Silicon Valley.
Celebrities.
It's celebrities. It's people. And they said that they raised the base prices of all the tickets, including the nosebleeds. So like it is a lot different than the Oracle, but it's still
hardcore fans.
You're in the finals now. All these people are going to get loud, and because of that, because it's like the wealthier fans, the celebrities, they're not going to get loud until you go on a run. So just like you said, if they score 3 times in a row and stop you, that's when those fans get loud, as opposed to Oakland, where they just have to score once and it gets loud.
Yeah, sure.
But I agree. You have to call time. You have to be strategic with your timeouts, and I think Brad Stevens not being at the coach has helped Boston. That's a coaching decision. I think he knows to do that.
Sure.
This next one is great. Is it fair to hinge the finals MVP on Steph Curry's legacy? If you don't think Steph Curry, so Joe and I both have very high opinions of Steph. Super salty. He said he didn't want to come to Minnesota, but that doesn't mean that for people that say, oh, they picked Johnny Flynn and Ricky Rubio before Steph. Yeah. Steph said if they picked him, he wouldn't play. Just gonna go so that salty, but still doesn't mean he's not great.
Sure.
Lots of players have said they don't want to play here. Jonathan Isaac, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson. You got plenty of players that say they don't want to be here.
Sure.
Every player that's ever been in free agency. And so, like, Steph Curry's amazing. I think top 5 is fair. Top 10, fair. I think top 15 is when you're like, okay, you're starting to let him fall a little bit, but still fair. I think top 15 is about as low as you should say Steph is, just because there are some underrated guys that have been that. Like, I think Wilt always being left out of the top is always so stupid. Everybody was so bad. No, he was just so good.
Right.
Anyway,
100 points without shooting. Like, there's no 3-pointers then. Yeah. So.
And all those rebounds, all the blocks, assists, everything. So ridiculous.
Like 50 rebound games. Like, that's
so dumb.
So dumb.
But Steph Curry, is it fair to hinge it on Finals MVP? We've already said Finals MVP really doesn't matter. It's just like it's a cherry on top. It's not even the cherry. It's like the cherry stem on the cherry. Like it's
I don't think a Finals MVP would move the needle to have a player go from, say, like top 10 to top 9. Like, I don't think one singular Finals MVP would move a player like that.
But a ring
would
from top 10 to top 5.
Absolutely.
So like a Finals MVP won't move him 1 spot, but a ring can move you 5 spots.
Yeah.
Like, I think Steph's looking at that ring. Hinging this on his legacy just means you're probably a hater in some sense.
Yeah.
Like, you probably don't like Steph, don't like the Warriors, something along those lines.
Probably from Cleveland.
Right. Or
Miami. Yeah,
right.
Like,
or you're from someplace you're from Boston, or you're from Brooklyn,
Philadelphia,
from Toronto. Like, you're from one of these teams that he's beat or faced.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Is it fair? The answer is no.
No.
It's he's already a top player of all time. Winning another ring pushes him up further. Winning another Finals MVP means that he won the ring. Yeah. So he's moving up because of the ring, not because of that Finals MVP.
100%.
Is he better than Jordan and LeBron if he wins a ring and Finals MVP? No. Is he still up in that category, even though he's already up there in like these top player categories? Yes, he's still up there, even though it becomes more of a don't forget to talk about Steph when you talk about those topics.
Yeah.
Celtics Warriors breakdown. Celtics Warriors predictions. Blah, blah, blah. Is Al Horford a top 6 player in the series?
No.
Next. Is this the best defense the Warriors have faced in the finals? I would say no, just because Kawhi's defense on the perimeter, and that's so they beat the Warriors in 6. I think that was one of the best defenses they faced because the Raptors were built big, so they could stop low, but they also had Kawhi and some like wings. Like Siakam was big, but he can guard wings.
Oh yeah.
So I think the Raptors are a better defense than the Celtics team.
Sure.
Even if they weren't rated as high and analytics wise, the matchup wise, the Warriors got beat by the Raptors easily because of that. Is Curry simply chasing a Finals MVP at this point?
No, he doesn't care about Finals MVP.
No.
You don't go to the finals and you're like, this is it. Finals MVP this year. This is what I'm going for.
Sits in the locker room. All right, guys, you ready for this game? Wiggins is what I need you to do. Klay, just knock it down like you always do. Dre, shut him down. I'm going for Finals MVP. Hey, no, he's gonna say what he needs to do to help win the game, and that's it. Because all they want to do is win. You know what Steve Kerr would say if he said, "All right, guys, I want Finals MVP this year." Steve would be like, "Excuse you?" Like I'm sure Michael Jordan probably said something along those lines when Steve played with him, but Michael was one of those guys like they probably just assumed he'd get it no matter what happened.
Sure.
While people want to say like that's the case, like we said, it only takes one good play to win Finals MVP.
Right.
That's all it takes. So I don't know. There's no way. There's no way Steph Curry simply eyeing like this, when I mean like why would he only be eyeing Finals MVP? That means the phrasing of that means if they lost in 7, he'd be like, didn't get Finals MVP.
Right.
Yeah. No, he'd be like, no, my ring.
Right. Yeah.
Gosh. Talking Steph Curry's legacy, again, I'm sure that was about Finals MVP because, again, I haven't been watching these, so I'm sure that's what it was about. And now we've gotten past 2 weeks ago. Let's check the other one I wanted to mention, the other handful. Warriors Celtics breakdown, obviously. What can Steph Curry bring in Game 1 to beat the Celtics? And what can he bring in the series to win MVP?
I'm gonna go like just the Warriors as a whole. In order to beat the Celtics in Game 1, they're gonna have to score more points than them.
That's gonna be a touchdown.
And so if Steph can somehow lead the Warriors to score more points than the Boston Celtics, I think they're gonna win.
I think if the Warriors score more and the Celtics have less, 100%. In order for him to win MVP, he'll probably have to have multiple good plays. Every media company needs to consistently talk about Steph winning MVP.
Right. Which, I mean, he's already set the groundwork. He probably has already won it. If you think about it.
Steph could be out for the last 3 games. He'd win Finals MVP because everybody's talking about it like this. I think what Steph can do is just play basketball and he'll probably win Finals MVP. What can Steph do to beat the Celtics in round 1 or Game 1? Win.
Yeah. That's how we can beat them.
When
winning.
He shoots the ball
if it goes in the hoop.
Yeah. I think they have a good chance of winning this game.
We talked earlier about is Jayson Tatum the second best player in the series? Steph is the best player in the series. So
100%. It's not close.
No, it's
unless
not.
Jayson Tatum can win a couple more rings, it's not close.
No.
And unless Jayson Tatum
about
can
Finals
match
MVPs?
the efficiency. Oh yeah, because if the Celtics win, Jayson Tatum wins Finals MVP. He has more. He's better than Steph.
Yeah, his legacy is more.
His legacy is more just the
more
cemented.
Earned.
You know.
Yep.
I agree. You know, makes total sense. Al Horford. If the Celtics win, it'll be like Al Horford and be like Al.
Oh, like Al Horford, the 6+ player. Like I can, like Steph, Klay, Wiggins, Draymond, Brown, Tatum, Smart. There's
Poole.
8 right there.
You got
Poole, Looney, probably. Like.
Did you say Robert Williams?
Robert Williams, Looney, yeah. Like, unless Al Horford's going up against Bam Adebayo and he has like 35 points again, then maybe. But
who's under more pressure, Jayson Tatum or Steph Curry?
Jayson Tatum. I mean, he's 24. He's trying to win.
But Steph has never won Finals MVP.
Yeah, but Steph can rely on like Steph can rely on the teammates around him, and he knows what they're gonna do. Whereas Tatum might be like, "I'm gonna have to do this myself." You know?
And I believe this is the first time the Celtics head coach has ever been in the finals.
Right.
Like, it's not just the players. Like, they have Steve Kerr, who's played in the finals, coached in the finals.
Yeah.
They have just such an advantage all around as a team. The cliche about the Warriors throughout this whole dynasty has been they play team basketball. They're such a team. Well, it's because it makes sense and it's true.
Yeah.
So, you know, who's under more pressure? Jayson Tatum, because more is on his shoulders. And when it comes down to it, it's him and that's it. Like, Steph can know, like, if he's having an off night, Klay, Wiggins, Poole, he's got so much more scoring.
Steph doesn't when you get the game 6 Klay performances, Steph doesn't do all that great. Like I don't know, Klay's gonna have 30 plus and Steph's gonna have like 19.
All right.
Like, that's just
with
how
8 assists, 2 turnovers, a couple fouls.
Yeah. So that's, I mean, you can have those games and the Warriors can still win if you get game 6 Klay and whatever.
Which, if Jayson Tatum scores 19 points, is a good. If you told me Jayson Tatum scored 19 points, the odds are the Celtics lost.
Yeah.
So Jayson Tatum's under more pressure.
Yeah, and here's the thing: the Celtics, when Jaylen Brown, Jayson Tatum, and Marcus Smart all score like over 20 in these playoffs, they're like 6-0. You could tell me that, oh, Jaylen Brown has 20 points, Jayson Tatum has 20 points, Marcus Smart has 20 points. I'll still think the Warriors have a good chance of being ahead.
Right. I need to hear what the Warriors have. Yeah. Because who says that Steph doesn't have 30? Klay has 30. Poole has 30.
Yeah.
Like, I think Poole's overrated.
I do too.
I do think Poole's overrated, but he's a good scorer. I think Jayson Tatum is overrated, even though he's incredible. I just think he's one of those guys that he reminds me of like another Celtic, Paul Pierce. The numbers are always really high, but he misses and wiped from his memory, comes down the court, shoots again. Yeah. I think he has a lot of shot attempts for a guy that, you know, is supposed to be a premier scorer.
Yeah, and here's another thing. I'm just bringing this randomly back to the Timberwolves. When Cat had that really bad game versus Memphis, he had like 6 points, right? Or like 9 points, something like that. He got trashed.
Yeah.
Trashed. Jimmy Butler has 6 points. Jimmy Butler has 13 points. Jayson Tatum had 9 points one game. Nothing. There's nothing to that.
Jimmy Butler averaged less than 10 points for an entire series.
Yeah.
No, he was just too tired and had no help.
Yeah. Which is basically what happened like this year. I don't think Miami's roster is constructed well at all. No. So I think
everybody
Boston
talks about
winning
how it's
was not a
amazing
surprise.
that Miami gets to where they are because they have a bunch of undrafted players, low drafted players they built through the draft and all that. Yeah, while that's amazing, that's every fan's dream.
Right.
In order to get to that next step, you need to have big free agents and trades. So when you trade for a guy like Kyle Lowry, it needs to be before everyone he turns 38.
Knows. Yeah, whoever. Yeah, we all knew Kyle Lowry was washed long before. Like his last season with DeRozan, like even that was a stretch.
Right.
So like,
you have to. In order for the Heat to take the next leap, they need a guy alongside Jimmy that's not an undrafted.
They need to trade
late.
Hero, Robinson, I don't care. Like their shooting doesn't matter. You can find anybody that can shoot the ball. Like you don't need to pay Premier for these guys.
But
I don't know.
You can pay Premier for a stud. Just do it. Like everybody wants to play in Miami. It's an easy place to bring people in. Just offer them money. Give up on don't listen to the fans when they say don't get rid of Hero.
Get rid of Hero, man. He's played like dog water in this series. So I don't know.
Would you rather have Hero or would you rather have a guy that might want to get out of Denver that just won 2 MVPs?
Yeah.
Just that he wanted.
Or Donovan Mitchell. A lot of Donovan Mitchell smoke there.
Donovan Mitchell with
guy that can create his own shot. The guy that can do clutch things. I don't know. Better than Hero, you don't know what you're gonna get. So
yes. All right.
I had to get that. I was so excited to get that Miami tangent in there because I just think they are constructed so bad.
I agree. It's all on Jimmy Butler, and he's not good enough to take you to the championship by himself. He's just not one of those guys. What would winning his first Finals MVP do to Steph Curry's legacy?
There's a
all
dead horse.
Different.
There's a dead horse, and they're just beating just Negan. beating the shit
like
out
we
of
said
his
at the beginning,
denim.
these are different articles, different titles. These are some of these. I haven't switched the page, so a couple of these recent ones are from the same company,
Right.
same title,
Right.
same people talking about it.
What was the question? Steph's legacy?
Yeah,
No.
what
Finals
would this
MVP doesn't
mean?
mean
What
anything.
would winning Finals MVP do?
That means he's got another trophy. He's probably going to shove it to the back next to his Western Conference Finals
Right.
trophy.
He'll
MVP.
organize them front to back by highest, the tallest to shortest.
Right.
So the Finals MVP's in the back there.
Right. He's got it back to his like swimming medal he got in second grade.
Like obviously he's gonna, if he wins Finals MVP again, sweet. What he cares about is the fact that he got a championship. Like, what does it do to his legacy? Way less than what it means for him to have won. Look, if the Warriors win it, Klay Thompson wins Finals MVP. You're not gonna tell me Steph couldn't have won it without Klay.
Yeah.
You're not gonna tell me Steph couldn't have won it without Dre. Like,
Yeah.
you
And you can't forget about Dre either.
you don't ever forget about Dre.
Yeah.
They did once, never
Yeah.
again.
Yeah.
So, who has more to gain, Jayson Tatum or Steph Curry, if they win the championship? Different one.
Ooh. I mean,
who has more to gain? Probably Jayson Tatum, because he's at 0, so he goes from 0 to 1. He joins the group of people that have never won a ring and is in a way smaller group of players that have won a ring. So Jayson Tatum has more to gain because Steph Curry has already cemented his legacy as the best shooter of all time, one of the best overall scorers of all time, simply because of his mid-range, his finishing at the rim, and his shooting. One of the best overall guards of all time because his assists and rebounds are still pretty solid.
Sure. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Steph Curry's going from top 10 to top 10 with another ring, whereas Jayson Tatum's
top 100 to top whatever.
Maybe like top 200. I don't know. I'm sure I could name some like a handful of players that are better than him, but like I don't know.
I think Jayson Tatum has way more. He goes from solidified, probably the best player at his age in the NBA.
Yeah. Yeah, between him and like Luka,
you can argue Luka's better, but with a ring, you can probably say Jayson Tatum's better.
Yeah, for sure.
So Jayson Tatum probably has more to gain. And that's all we need to go over.
There's that one KD thing. The KD articles. You mentioned some of those earlier. I don't know if you can find them, but
we'll just do that as the last topic here. Do the Warriors winning the championship affect KD's legacy? The implication is that the Warriors won with KD, or won without KD, and KD's never even been to the finals since he left or before he got to the Warriors. So he needed the Warriors more than they needed him. That's the implication.
Well, okay. So they needed Kevin Durant. They acquired Kevin Durant to get past Cleveland because they like to be like, all right, we got to get past Cleveland because LeBron is an alpha, right? Kyrie's amazing too. So they got Kevin Durant to beat Cleveland, and it worked. I think they beat them 2 years. Like
that was an unbeatable team. It was just a juggernaut. Without injuries or atrophy, that team was winning the championship. Yeah.
And they would have beaten Toronto. They would have beaten Toronto if Klay and KD didn't get hurt.
100. I agree.
So they would have got that three-peat. So and even Ty Lue saying that he drew up his double teams for Steph, not KD. Like, I mean, it makes sense. Like, I mean, I don't know. I don't think KD ever should have left. That's just me personally.
Yeah,
I mean,
I wasn't mad when he went there. I never once thought he was a snake.
Yeah.
Not once.
I'm a huge. I mean, we've talked about this before. I'm a huge fan of dynasties. So like, if outside of like the Yankees, because the Yankees just buy all their players, but like,
there's a difference between a dynasty and baseball, which made it that way.
Right. So, but yeah, like I was fine if KD went there because I was like, who's gonna beat them? Like you can construct the best teams. And you still can't beat them. So
not even close. You have to hope for injury or atrophy at some point.
Yeah. Or have like one of the top 2 players of all time on your roster. So I don't know. I don't think KD ever should have left. I don't think it doesn't tarnish his legacy, but it almost makes it look like what could have been.
Right.
Almost. So
I think that's the point. I've heard I've heard a couple people make, especially on local radio when I've been listening, when they do bring it up and I have nothing else to listen to, so I do like leave it on. They've mentioned that that's really what it's about, is that it should point to KD about he made a brash decision, but I think it's unfair because people mocked him for joining the Warriors, then they mocked him now for leaving the Warriors for all these different, and now they're gonna mock him if the Warriors win. Like, he's in a lose situation. KD's one of the best players I've ever watched with basketball.
Right.
I thought the Trailblazers were dumb as hell to pick Greg Oden. I thought Kevin Durant was far and away the best player in that draft. Turned out, even without injury, Greg Oden's not becoming KD.
Right.
I think Kevin Durant is just, when you think there's never been a player with that skill set, that size, everything.
Sure.
It is so ridiculous the way people have treated Kevin Durant entirely. Like, yeah, you're a figure in sports, you're popular, all that, so people are going to criticize you. But he couldn't win. Like, he went to the Warriors, they called him a snake because he joined the team he couldn't beat. He joined an already, he's 72 win team. Like,
right.
So stupid, what all this stuff. And then he leaves and people are like, what are you doing? You could have unlimited rings. Well, you told me those rings didn't count. Every ring I won has an asterisk. So if I have to win a ring elsewhere, how can I do that unless I leave? So no, I don't think Kevin Durant's legacy is affected by
I think
this.
legacies are tarnished by scandals. So like Deshaun Watson will never have a premier legacy to me.
People that never really bring up Ben Roethlisberger when you talk about some of the most accomplished quarterbacks ever, probably because of off-field things.
Yeah, and like, I mean, you could say the same thing for Kobe, and that's gonna hurt a lot of people, but he had scandal too. So I mean,
100%. Like, it's something that you might not come to the forefront of your mind, but when you're like, man, how do I always forget about him? Why do I always forget? You're like, oh, that's why.
And I mean, it's different when that player is your player, right? Like, I mean, Adrian Peterson, we still think highly of him, even though he had the thing with this kid. Like, there's some bleak rumors of Dalvin Cook too, but it doesn't, like, it's different when they're your player, I guess. But yeah, I'm OKC fans trashing KD, Golden State fans trashing KD, Cleveland fans trashing KD, Nets fans trashing KD. I don't know. I don't think it tarnishes KD's legacy. It just,
as
like
long
you
as
said,
he's,
what could have been.
As long as he's happy, he's still got his couple rings. He's still got opportunities to go back to the finals. I mean, not to the Warriors. I think he's fine. Like, if you look at KD and don't think he's one of the most skilled basketball players ever, I think a lot of people do that with Aaron Rodgers. They think he is one of the best quarterbacks of all time because but he only has one Super Bowl ring and he can't really make it back to that Super Bowl. But they're like, when you watch Aaron Rodgers, that's one of the best quarterbacks ever.
Yeah.
Kevin Durant has those couple rings that people might not question, or that might not appreciate. Say they have asterisks on them. Say he never makes it back. When you watch him play basketball, you still got to look at that and be like, that's one of the best players I've ever seen play basketball.
Right.
Can't stop him. He can stop you. I mean, that year that he won the first year with the Warriors, he was also their lead blocker. He might have been their lead rebounder. He was their leading scorer.
Right.
So people talking about like best player on the best team is the player that deserves all the accolades. Well, he was the best player on that team. Yeah. Steph Curry, you might think is the better player overall, legacy wise, but that year when they were together, Steph was the second best player on his team. Yeah. He was just the most loved by his fans because he was drafted there. He built a community.
He's
there.
Your player.
He's your player. KD was never, which is KD's whole thing. Like, he left because he never felt appreciated there.
Right.
So no, it doesn't affect his legacy. The only thing that affects his legacy would be scandal, which his biggest scandal is having a burner account, and tons of celebrities and athletes have admitted they have burner accounts.
Yeah, we do.
He just he just admitted he just got caught. That's the only thing. That's it. And what he was doing was something that the reporters and everybody loved. They loved it. Like, I'm surprised KD wasn't even more aggressive afterward and be like,
right.
You guys are mocking me, but you loved it. Like,
right.
So that was our recap of how we view this whole Steph Curry, NBA Warriors
reaction,
Celtics reaction, preview, prediction. Throw that in real quick. I think Warriors win it 5 or 6.
Yep, that's what the consensus is. I say Warriors in 5, just for I'd love to see them winning at the Bay, just because that's kind of what they want to do. They win one in Boston, it's over. So
yeah, yep. I think Celtics have too much to overcome. If this was their second trip, third trip, right. I think this would be very competitive. Celtics might even have a bigger advantage, but mental thing comes way into effect in the finals. All right. Thank you all for listening. We'll see you next week. If you didn't catch last week, our first week back, it did come out late because, sick. But it came out. We talked about a lot of good stuff in sports, Colin Kaepernick, all that good things. Check that out. We'll see you next week where we have more topics. And this week we're talking about Obi-Wan in our other section of our podcast. So check that out as well. You all look great today. GG.
GG.